Okay, so yeah, I'm looking real crazy. So we're gonna talk a little bit today about bronzing versus contouring, and then some other things like highlighting and blush, just bringing your foundation together. So if you haven't seen the last video that I made, that video is basically all about foundation. And so if you're wondering like how the fuck we got here, go ahead and watch that video first. So what is bronzing and what is contouring and what's the difference? So basically bronzing would be more so bringing like light into your face. It's more so like giving you a warm glow, and contouring is more so like it's more so like sculpting your face to give yourself, like if you want to give yourself cheekbones that are like really fierce, like supermodel cheekbones, that kind of thing. If you want to give yourself like a really snatched nose, things like that are contouring. And so they serve two different purposes. I'm a bronzer girl myself, but I used to contour and everybody did. And I'm gonna show you kind of both because I feel like there's a difference in application as well, and that way it'll help you kind of figure out which ways are gonna be the things that you prefer, or maybe you like both and you want to incorporate both techniques into your makeup routine. But like I said, I prefer to bronze. And so I'm gonna dedicate one side of my face to bronzing and the other side of my face to contouring, and then I'm gonna show you some blush and highlight stuff too. Okay, so as far as products go, I feel if you are a person of color, you'll probably have an easier time finding a contour color that will work for you than a bronzing color. But I will share some of my favorite like contour and bronzing colors. So I actually have this guy right here. This is the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette. This is great for somebody who is starting out with contouring, trying to figure out what works for you. I want to say I got this for like $8, if not less than that. So on the inside looks like this. It comes with a contour color, a sculpting color, and a highlight. So this is kind of like a great beginner's tool, and it's affordable, so you can't really go wrong with that. So it also comes with instructions, and it shows you where to put everything on your face, so that's pretty cool. I don't really do much with the sculpting color very often unless I'm trying to soften the contour. But I usually use the contour, and then of course you have your highlight right here as well. So the brushes that I prefer for a contour is something a little bit more tapered, a little bit more, you want something that's going to put the product in an exact place. You don't want a really diffused look with your contour color. You want something that's very like, this is where it goes. Okay, so I'm going to just take this contour color, and I'm using, this is a Morphe brush that came in like a set, so I don't have, it doesn't come with numbers or anything like that, but it's a very tapered brush. And so I'm just gonna take the powder, and I'm going to contour my cheekbones. So I'm gonna start at, don't clock my wig, okay? I'm gonna start at the top of my ear, and you can bring that color right down, and you can kind of use the top of your ear and your mouth, like right where your top and bottom lip meet, to kind of give yourself a guideline of where to contour. I'm not saying to like go all the way into your mouth like that, but it kind of, you can see like almost a natural progression to that area, and that will kind of tell you where to lay your product down. So kind of like that. And I'm all about like using a million brushes to like spread color out, so you may need to go in, you may feel like you need to go in and grab a brush or a sponge just to soften it. But I think this is kind of why I stopped contouring, because I feel like it just looks a little too harsh for me now in my old age. I just think it's a little too harsh. But you know, to each his own, and there are plenty of ways to soften this up. But like I said, this is just a great guideline to tell you where you're going to go ahead and put your contour color. So contour colors are always going to be cool toned, wherein a bronzing color is going to be more of a warm tone, usually like a reddish tone. The thing is, with a contour shade, you're emulating like a shadow basically. So by emulating a shadow, oh shit. By emulating a shadow like that, you're going to sculpt that, and it kind of makes it look further away, so that it kind of creates a cheekbone and it looks a little bit more like, you know. And that's another way that you can kind of tell where to put your contour color. You can make a little fishy face and you'll see that that goes right there. And you can diffuse that as much as you need to. Like I said, I kind of like more diffused like looks like that in the first place, so that's probably another reason, like I said, why I prefer to bronze. But you can also contour your nose. I don't really like to do that, but you can. And a brush that I like to use to contour the nose, this is a really unique brush by Morphe. It's the M164 brush. It's very, very different. It's got this like slanted edge right here. And that's really cool because it kind of gets right there in your nose, and you can use the contour powder, or you can use a cream contour, and you can just go right in here. I'm gonna try it on camera. I don't really contour my nose. It's just not something that I really like to do, but you can just bring that color right down like that. And then I would just use another like small fluffy brush or something like that to just go in and like soften it up a little bit. So like, let's see, like if I took a brush like this and just kind of softened it a little bit. Like I said, it's not my forte. I have a method that I use to kind of snatch my nose, and I will show you that on this side. But you can just kind of lay down your contour, and you can line it up with your eyebrow, which gives you a good guideline as to where to start and stop. So kind of like that. It shouldn't be super apparent, and I think again that's why I don't like to do it, is sometimes on me, or if you have a more narrow nose, sometimes it can look a little too snatched because there's not a lot of space to work with anyway, so it just looks really like you know, what happened to you? You look like a puppet when you do that. So I try not to do that. So this is the contour side, and you know, we've contoured our nose and we've contoured our cheekbones. You can further like snatch this area right here by doing a method called reverse contouring. And with reverse contouring, you can take either a translucent powder and go straight underneath here, or you can do like I do. I use a foundation stick because I don't want to have flashback there. So it wouldn't be me if something wasn't on the floor. Okay, so I'm using the Anastasia foundation stick in Chestnut. So this, like I said, will be a little bit less stark to me than using a translucent powder. I've been using a stick foundation for a couple of days, weeks, and I've been liking the result from that a lot better. It's a little bit softer, so I'm just gonna run that down where I contoured like that, and you can see the contour shows up a little bit more, which is great because a lot of the time contouring and highlighting when you're a darker skinned woman can be really, really difficult. It can look just like you have a hard time finding a color that works for you, and it's frustrating. So now I'm just gonna take a brush and just like soften that line. And then you can always go back and just soften everything up. And so basically we have like a contoured side right here. Okay, so it basically just kind of brings your cheekbones in and gives you a more sculpted look. So my favorite is to bronze. And so like I was saying before, it is hard to find bronzers that match my skin tone. So I do have two that you've probably seen in my videos I mixed together. This one is Mahogany by Anastasia. As you can see, I love this one a lot. And another one that I love a lot is my Bits and Pieces bronzer by ColourPop. And you know, the great thing about the ColourPop one is it's an affordable option. So Mahogany is a little bit too close to my skin tone, but ColourPop is a little too red. So when I mix them together, I get the perfect color that I need. And that's what I was saying about, like, bronzers are usually like a red undertone. So what a lot of people do with contour products and bronzing products is they will go get like a powder. It's a lot easier to just find like a setting powder and just kind of working with that. So if you decide to go that route, which is a little bit easier, you just have to make sure that you're picking the right undertone for what you need. So like I said, the undertone for a contour color should almost be like a cool, like almost gray look to it. It shouldn't be warm. And then a contour, or I'm sorry, a bronze color should be like almost like a red. You should almost be able to see like redness in the color. And like I said before, bronzers are just going to warm up your complexion. And I use a more diffused, bigger, fluffier brush for that. Sorry, it looks terrible. This is just a random brush. I think it's from Chanèl Cosmetics. And I'm just gonna mix the two bronzers on the brush. And with bronzer, you can kind of put it a lot more places. So I am gonna put it here, but as you can see, that brush isn't going, it's not as like straight forward, you know, it's in the same area as where we contoured, but it's not as like perfect, you know, and perfectly set. So I'm just taking it like that, and I go above my forehead. I don't do too much. I try not to do too much on my forehead because my forehead is pretty small. And then I'm going to take just a smaller brush and just kind of blend above where I've put my bronzer. But yeah, and sometimes I'll put bronzer on like my jawline as well. You can do this with your contour shade too. And I'll just kind of put it there, and it just warms my complexion, as opposed to a contour that it's not really warming your complexion, it's just creating dimension, where this is creating warmth. Okay, so you know, you can kind of like just circular motions with a big bigger fluffier brush than you would with your contour shade. So like I was saying before, one thing that I like to do to snatch my nose, I just take some translucent powder. This is the Too Faced Peach Perfect Mattifying Setting Powder, and I'm just going to take a little bit of that onto a blending sponge. It's dirty because I just used it to do my foundation, and then I just press it right where pretty much where we contoured here, we're reverse contouring here. And I'm just gonna make sure I get it around my nose too. And I just like let it sit. Ooh, I hate when I end up tasting it. I'm just gonna let it sit. I usually let it sit for like a minute. This is one of the only places on my face that I bake. And then I just take a brush and just wipe it away. It's a lot softer to me to just reverse contour. And it's exactly what it sounds like. So the opposite of contouring is highlighting. So by highlighting this area, we are showing, we're just further snatching the nose. So it's going to look like this, but a lot softer. You won't have to blend as much out. So I usually just like let this sit for a minute while I do something else. And then I just go ahead and do my, everything else, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I am back. I wiped off the translucent powder so you can see it's like a little snatched, but it's very soft. And I went on ahead and like did some things to my face. So we're back with almost a full face. I did want to show you a couple of things about blush and highlighter. It's not going to take a long time, I promise you. Just some suggestions if you're like looking to get started with some blushes. And of course it wouldn't be me if they didn't look terrible, because they're very well loved. But the Juvia's Place Saharan 1 and 2 blush palettes are fantastic. So for the Saharan Blush Volume 1, I love this one. It is very woman of color, people of color friendly, which is why I really like it, but it is a little bright for some of you. So and by the way, that one came with 2 highlighters. This one is the Saharan 2 blush palette, and it comes with this highlighter right here, which is really, really soft and really, really pretty. So those are some great affordable options for getting started if you're kind of like hesitant on blush and things like that. I just feel like blush and highlight like bring the look together. And so even if it's not like a stark crazy color blush or super bright, you can still incorporate something, you know, that just kind of like brings the contour or bronzer and the highlight. It just like melts everything together really beautifully. So I would highly recommend, if you're like new to blush and you're kind of scared, I really love this color right here. I think it's called Yara, and it is like brown. It's just brown, and I like that though because it still brings everything together. It adds like a nice like semi baby flush, but it's not anything like that's going to be very intimidating. I'm using a brush like this. This is like, again, you guys, most of my brushes are like really random. I have some Morphe brushes, but a lot of them are like from random sets from Amazon and stuff. So just get like a small fluffy brush, and I'm gonna actually use the color B, which is right here, just because of the look that I have with the purple eye look. I'm just going to put a little bit, and I'm just gonna smile. And basically where my cheeks plump up when I smile, like that, that's where you want to put your blush. So you can just smile and just like stipple it on. I don't have a lot of blush on, y'all. Like, I'm using a very light hand, and I'm just lightly stifling it on the part that plumps up when you smile. And that's it. That's as far as we're gonna go with the blush. So for highlighting, my absolute favorite brush to use with highlighters is the Morphe M501 brush. It is a tapered brush. It's just very, very nice because of the way that it disperses your highlighter. This is going to work for most highlighters. It will not work for all. I have tried it on loose highlighters, and I personally prefer a fan brush for a loose highlighter myself, but that's another story for another day. So I'm going to go into the same palette, and I'm going to get this color here called Zoba, and that is the like highlighter shade that's in here. And where would I put highlighter? Basically, you want to think of where does the sun naturally hit your face, okay? You don't have to put highlighter in all these places. I'm extra when it comes to highlight, so I like a lot of highlight. So I'm gonna put it right above, like it's right where you're, like there's like a little bone right there. It's like right there. I like to put a little bit of highlighter. I think I need to like blend this in a little bit. Oh shit. Sorry. Okay. I just felt like I needed to blend that. Okay. Oh well. So I'm just gonna put some highlighter right here, right above where we put our blush. Look how pretty that is. Some right here above that blush. And I like to put some on my nose. I know everybody doesn't like that. You don't have to do everything I do. And then I like to put some on my forehead. You can also put some under your brow bone. You know, there's a lot of places that people like to highlight. I just kind of put it there. And I also do put some right above my cupid's bow. Sue me. You know, that's the beauty of makeup though, is you can do what you like to do. And, you know, you find what works for you. Okay? So I think that about does it. So let me take these little clips out my hair. Alrighty. Okay, so this is pretty much the look with bronzer and the look with contour. You tell me in the comments, which do you prefer? Do you like bronzing? Do you like contouring? Do you not give a fuck? Why'd you watch this? I'm just kidding. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy this series. I was nervous as fuck making this video. It took me 3 days to decide to have the courage to even do it because I was so nervous. I want to be a good teacher to you guys, and I really hope that I hope that this video was a little bit helpful to you guys. Like I was so nervous to do this. I was nervous. So I hope you guys like the look. I hope you like the way the skin looks and everything like that. And just stay tuned for more videos from this series. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and if there's anything I left out, please let me know in the comments, and let me know what you'd like to see out of my Back to Basics 101 series. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share, whatever you need to do, just do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.